There's a strange stigma behind psychiatry. Maybe it's the way that it's portrayed in movies or what you read in the news, but a lot of people won't seek help because they feel embarrassed or ashamed that they're that person who can't handle their own situation. Which, of course, is complete bullshit. What's up, guys? It's Matty. If it's your first time here, I'm a third-year medical student in the US, and I am currently on my psychiatry rotation. If you guys are about to start psychiatry or know you're gonna do it in the future, I actually have a very special gift I want to share with you guys. So stick around until the end of the video, and let's see how this day goes. So I've been thinking a lot about wellness and mental health over the last month because not long ago, I had a streak of bad days. I don't really know when it began, I don't know where it came from, definitely didn't order off Amazon, but I guess that's usually how it goes. There are just these tiny moments of stress throughout the day that throw you off center again and again and again. You wake up hoping for a fresh start, but the hits just keep coming. You slowly start to let go of habits and routines, and you realize that you need to take action. Do some push-ups, stay sharp, but you can't. And because of it, you feel guilty, unmotivated, and start to lose control until all of a sudden, well, you know the rest.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll take care of that for you, okay? All right, no problem. Have a good day. All right, bye-bye.
Med students sending scripts.
Yeah.
Someone should get this guy fired.
Dude, that's what I do, man. Anything.
Freedom. Hey bro, can I get a ride?
Yeah, I guess, man. Hop in.
Hey, I'll buy you lunch.
Anything I want?
Yeah, sure.
Chipotle?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I'm not gonna buy him lunch. So, just went to go see a patient, and the interview went a little more bizarre than I expected. These are called pinpoints. Pretty much you use them whenever you get into a dicey or risky situation with the patient. You pull the black part out, kind of like a bomb or a grenade. The security or the police will be alerted and they'll rush over the room in case you're having trouble. So luckily I haven't had to use it yet, although secretly I kind of want to use it. For me, a lot of this pressure comes from imposter syndrome. Like, am I seriously qualified to be doing this? Or it's from comparing myself to the genius few people in the class? Or it's a fear of failure, of disappointing my parents. As a first-gen Asian American, I can't even imagine the sacrifice that my parents had to go through as refugees to this country. I know that they love me no matter what I decided to do with my life, but I don't know, there's just this personal sense of responsibility that I have to make everything count. Basically, I felt that if I don't hustle, then I was never gonna be good enough. Eventually, this state of overdrive and self-doubt always leads me down the same path, to burnout. On psych especially, I've gotten to see so many interesting cases of anxiety and depression and the different ways that it can affect us.
Your call has been forwarded to...
Naturally, it's important to develop coping strategies to bounce back after a rough day and break free from the cycle. So I went around and asked different students and doctors what they do to de-stress, to see if I can borrow some ideas to get out of my own slump.
So usually after a rough day, I like to first eat a really good meal and then maybe have a really good dessert.
If I have the time and also the energy, I'll go to the gym.
If I have time, go to the gym and go for a run.
For me, I enjoy outdoor stuff. I do a lot of bike riding, a lot of kayaking.
We do things like watch FIFA and
video games. I go home and I game for like 3 hours and then I come back here.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, I know I can just go home, turn on my PlayStation, call up the boys, and we can play Warzone for as long as we want, and I can just deal with the consequences of not studying afterwards.
Later that same evening.
Huh? I guess one quig wouldn't hurt to relax. I'm gonna go around.
No, go left, go left.
Dude. No, I'm not ready. Dude's on cooldown. Dude, my quig's on cooldown. Man, we're getting rolled.
Steamroll.
Dominating. Unstoppable Mega Kill. Monster Kill.
Well, that sucked. I'm more stressed out than before now.
All hope seemed to be lost, and I was just about ready to accept the fact that I wasn't going to get back to normal anytime soon. Until the second last day on my rotation. One of my patients, an older Vietnam War vet with PTSD, severe depression, suicidal thoughts, had been admitted to the hospital for several weeks now. It was for his own safety, although it was against his will, which definitely explains why he was so agitated all the time. And every hour we get a call from nursing about him. And then finally, one of the residents looked over at me and said, "Hey Matty, can you just go see if there's anything that we can do for this guy?" You know, as a medical student, we can't really do much. Someone once called it glorified shadowing, which I thought was so accurate, and it's always stuck with me. But yeah, I got up and I went over, and on the way, I was like trying my best to remember everything I could about PTSD and different treatment options for depression, as if this was like some opportunity for me to show how much I know. When I got to his room, he wasn't in pain, he wasn't hallucinating or delirious or psychotic at all. He was just sobbing, hunched over in his wheelchair with his hands on his knees. I asked him, "Is there anything that I can do for you?" And he just explained to me that he was just sick and tired of being in the hospital and he just wanted to go home. All he wanted to do was sit on his porch with his dog and enjoy the sun. That was his favorite thing in the world to do before coming into the psych hospital. And after hearing this, I just felt so bad for him, that he'd been cooped up in this windowless room for weeks in the bowels of the hospital. Honestly, in that moment, I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Like, what medical plan was I supposed to bring back to my seniors? What's the treatment for crime? But suddenly I was struck with like a random idea, and I just decided to run with it. I looked at him and said, "You know, why don't I take you out to the patio in the psych unit and we can enjoy some sun?" I was afraid that I'd made a mistake saying this. I probably should have asked one of the nurses or other caregivers to take him out. After all, I was just a medical student. I'm not really trained to deal with agitation if things got out of hand. And on top of that, I didn't know how long this was gonna take. All I knew was that if I spent a lot of time out there with him, then it would take me a lot longer to finish my notes and have to stay later, and that would prevent me from going home and hopping online and getting steamrolled by some more 12-year-old gamers. But at this point, I was already burnt out anyways, so I thought, why not? But once we got outside, my worries quickly disappeared. He shared an intimate story with me about his time fighting in the Vietnam War. And then he shared another story, and then another story. He told me about how he missed the birth of his son because he was overseas, and then he told me about how a couple of years ago, he missed the death of that same son because of his mental illness. And I just sat with him, asked him the occasional question, glorifyingly shadowed. He didn't expect anything of me. He didn't expect me to treat his depression or to know about the latest research. He didn't care whether I studied or whether I used active recall. The only thing that mattered was that he was healing himself right in front of my eyes by sharing his story. And as a result, I was healing my own soul just by being there and listening. At the end, he thanked me and told me that this was the first time in a long time that he felt optimistic. Sometimes it's not about how much you know or how hard you worked, but about how much you can give in order to help you find your center of balance again.
We need to find ways to balance things. And I think instilling that balance starts early. And it's a habit that I think any medical student or anyone in general should start doing at a very, very early in their career. Maybe that means knowing when to say no or when to draw a line in terms of work. You know, the work is not going anywhere, but you need to be able to balance it and approach it in a healthy manner. Don't dismiss it. If you know someone that's suffering or struggling, have them reach out to someone that needs help. It's not a joke, and it is like any sort of physical illness. And in this pandemic, we've all been through a lot, and it's okay to talk to someone about it.
So as I promised at the beginning of this video, I do have a little treat for you guys. I'm gonna be sharing my Psychiatry RemNote decks for both Step 1 and Step 2. Pick your poison, links are in the description below. If you enjoyed this little pep talk, then you might enjoy the last one I did too when I was on my OB-GYN rotation. Totally check that out somewhere right here.